the button that makes the streaming begin. It's time. It's time for clouds and harmonies. Harmonies especially. That clouds thing's not going to make any sense to anybody. Here's the link for you.
What?
And now we're almost going. It's almost time that we're almost going.
Let's learn about potatoes, dog.
There you go. That's going to bring in the people. That's the good stuff. That's what everyone's excited about. This is what I'm excited about. And in the meantime, I'm gonna take an animal card.
I'm gonna take an animal card.
I'm gonna take some colored tokens. I'm going to apply them to my board.
What?
I do think there's going to be very little learning about Jonathan Quarterly in this stream, probably.
That's... I mean, that's okay.
He's just not... He's not up to much, is the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Other than dragging his butt all over your spaceship.
I do hate it. I do wish that he wouldn't do that. It's very bad, in my opinion.
Okay, is it leaving anything in the game? Are there like resources for you to clean up?
No, there are not.
Has no game event. It just bothers you.
Yeah, that's I think a fair description. Ooh.
All right, what am I up to today? What am I gonna do?
It's a great question. So I've taken these incredible llamas. These they might be llamas, they might be alpacas. Whatever. Some kind of dromedary is what matters. Interesting. Well, I gotta tell you, I'm not super jazzed about the way these tokens are coming up. I think what we're gonna do here is grab these woodland wolves, and then maybe just like a bunch of mountain. I'm gonna need like a lot of gray discs in order for like scoring to occur. So let's go ahead and do some of that. We'll also throw one over here so that these are actually scoring mountains. Go ahead.
Okay.
See, this is going to be, yeah, Jerry Jeff is already on top of what is going to be sort of an interesting thing about today's stream, which is that I bet a lot of the people in the audience know way more about Warframe than I do, because I've been playing Warframe for 8 days. It's something I've been interested in for a long time, and I'll probably redo this whole speech when we start the stream proper. It's something I've been interested in for a long time, but it's just been sort of like on the edge, on the periphery of my awareness, and I've always been like, yeah, I'd like to try that out someday. I bet that would be fun. So I finally did. I finally like took the leap. So we're just gonna build a little tree here, start a field group, and then like this will be an okay place for a building, I think. And then while we're doing all that, actually, I guess the squirrels won't be bad. Right? I'm already kind of building into the squirrels.
All right.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Hello, Andra. Hello, everybody.
Okay, what if we do...
Okay, so Jerry Jeff is going to be more knowledgeable than me about the new player experience and the old player experience. Listen, sometimes I need to be corrected about stuff, and this is a game that has a long and storied history, and I wasn't around for any of it, so... Okay, interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. I definitely need some more fields. That goes without saying. And yet here I am saying it.
Neat. I think that's neat.
What's neat?
That you're saying it.
That's right. I speak up for the people. All right, we got a tree. This tree has wolves living in it. We have so much incredible alpaca action. Check this out. What an efficient little shape we've built here. To satisfy both of the cubes by mirroring it like some kind of brain genius.
I would definitely play a game called Alpaca Action. That sounds amazing.
It's a sequel to Elevator Action, where all of the verticality of it is just because you're on like step farms in Peru. And then see, this one's tough. Where am I going to put this yellow one? Because I'm kind of like, I'm getting pretty speculative here about where I'm going to put this other tree. I guess my plan is like over here. I'm committing to a plan.
Okay. All right, I'm going to take this one with the red. It's not the one I want to take right now, but I don't want to risk it not being there and her taking it because she needs to top off a red.
I would certainly like to do that.
So I'm gonna do this and then
Cold-blooded.
place my cube. And then am I taking a card? I should take a card of some description.
You know, you say nothing in the main solar map should be too much of a roadblock, but the boss at the end of Demos, the what's his name? I've already forgotten it. That guy's been a problem. He and I have had many unpleasant encounters.
I'll take this one, I guess.
Because I was like, oh, Demos is going to be the first body I complete for an extractor because it has such good extraction stuff. And that dude, the prelate, he's some kind of prelate. He has made that not be the case over and over again, many times now. What an interesting set of discs. What if I just never took any water? What if I refused?
Hashtag potatoes posting.
Are you posting more about potatoes now? Oh no, somebody's mentioning the potatoes posting.
Potatoes
Okay.
posting.
I was gonna say, are you continuing to sound post during the stream?
No, I can't multitask like that. You know that.
So hey everybody, howdy, welcome in. We're just playing our standard little warm-up pre-stream game of thing. Hey Amabel, are you ready? Are you ready for some moves here? Are you ready for me to commit some moves?
Maybe.
Because I completed these incredible llamas off of this landmass, and then I'm just gonna update these mountains.
I'll allow it.
Bam. Bam. Vultures accomplished. And then like what goes where did these go? It's gonna be really hard for me to carve this up very much. I guess I'm just gonna put this over here, I think. I don't really know what I'm doing with that yet. And I don't know if I think any of these I'm not taking an animal right now. I don't know what the hell I'm doing over here.
Arthur asks if you are planning on playing another Endless Space 2 campaign.
Yeah, well, in a roundabout way, yeah. Because there probably will not be another Endless Space 2 series by itself unless somebody comes out with some kind of like Endless Legend community patch level of AI fixing. Because I think the base mechanics of the game are really good. It's just that it's hard to play single player campaigns in it repeatedly because the AI is so bad at the game that it's very, very easy to win. But we will absolutely be spending some time in Endless Space 2 in the Amabel Goes to 4X School series. I guess I try not to talk too much ahead about what's going on because I don't want people to be disappointed when we change our minds, because we do change our minds from time to time. But currently the plan is for that to be next. Endless Legend, then Endless Space 2. That's what I was thinking.
And then when are we going to do Civ 7? I mean, Humankind.
Humankind. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I thought about it, right? Because, like, obviously following the Civ 6, then Endless Legend, then Humankind is kind of an interesting... Like, if I really wanted to draw the lineage out, what I would probably have wanted to do is go Civ 5, then Endless Legend, then Civ 6, to sort of establish Firaxis's history of borrowing mechanics from the Endless games. And then Humankind to set up for the thing everybody's now aware of with Civ 7. But unfortunately, I don't want to play that much Civ. So I don't know. I think we're going to push Humankind back a little bit and do Endless Space 2 next, because I really want to talk about the other kind of 4X. You know, we've seen two terrestrial 4Xs, and I want to talk about the sort of like node planet map based outer space 4X, which is the other major branch of the genre. So yeah, Endless Space 2 is probably next. Definitely taking the opportunity to finish a building. That sounds pretty great. And also, you know, wouldn't hurt to put down another one of these great big trees. Squirrel go here. And I mean, that's going pretty well, right? Now the question is there a place where I can put this field that is any better than just trying to accomplish a 2-point field group? And I think the answer is no. We'll just like tuck this away in a corner somewhere and maybe eventually it'll be relevant. I suppose... You know what? I can put this down, I can take this, and I can just get 2 points off of a little habitat there. Why not? It's something.
All right, this is what I needed. Okay. Let's get some mountains there. And
so, okay, for my money, maybe this is ignorance. I guess I maybe I need to look into it more. But I don't... And to keep in mind, my actual playtime is 0 hours of Stellaris. I don't even own Stellaris. But isn't Stellaris more in the Paradox grand strategy tradition than a 4X game? Isn't it more of like a you know, Hearts of Iron, Crusader Kings kind of vibe? Like, I'll take a look at it. Yes, that's what I thought. I don't want to mix in the grand strategy games here because we're already gonna end up pretty far afield, and I'm not trying to spoil that too much, but like we're gonna see some weird stuff before the series is over with.
Do you see the series being over by the end of next year?
By the end of next year? I don't know. Probably not.
Okay.
I think we've embarked on a pretty grand plan here. I think it's a big one. Okay, so this is interesting. The presence of this crocodile / alligator, because I can never remember which one is which, does complicate things somewhat. And like, I had to ask myself, how likely do I think it is that I'm going to get the last tall tree for the wolves? Because there's not a lot of time left on this game. I think the answer is I don't think it's happening. So I'm going to use this wood as just the base for a building. Then we're going to put down this here. We're going to go ahead and put squirrels in that building. And then am I going to grab... I think I'm going to not take an animal card this turn. I'm not entirely sure. Listen, I don't even know. Like, I'm not trying to say anything's definitely not getting included in the 4X School series, because like Amabel just alluded to, it's going to run for a long time. And even if I said definitively right now, yeah, we're not playing that because it doesn't fit my vision in such and such a way, like, who knows if that would still be true by the time we get to the end of this damn thing. Okay, well, we're taking this for sure. Because I very desperately need to make this mountain, this is the great big mountain that I built, scoring. It'd be very embarrassing if the game ended and that still was not turned on. Let's say maybe we can get this happening. And then, like, I don't know what I want to do with this water. I don't think I'm going to be able to do another division. So the question is just like, would it be feasible for me to actually score an animal at all? Most of the animals that are here have water on them. I certainly could put the water tile right there and just Kingfisher. My hope was to make this the other building for the squirrels, though. And it would be a pretty good building. But, I mean, like, it might be... We might be talking pipe dreams here. Kingfisher would be 5 points right now. Yeah, alright. Sometimes it's a game about giving up on hope. Oh, what am I doing? Do you mind if I just...
Do whatever you need to do.
Reset that. I'm a fool. That tree is the thing that has the cube on it already. I'm a big... This is still the right set of tokens. I'm still going to put most of them in the same spots. But yeah, never mind. That can't work that way. Go ahead and put that down. I'm going to put this over here. And we'll just, like, we'll see. Who knows? Maybe something's happening. You can't end the game this turn.
No.
Who went first? I was first.
You were first. This is not a very...
It's an unusual play.
But it does let me... Sorry, just let me...
Sure, I have no doubt that it's good. It's just unusual is all. Please do not imagine I meant anything other than love.
It does let me get some cubes out.
Yeah.
I can end it on the next turn. I will end it on the next turn. Just have awareness.
Oh, I have awareness. Alright, so I'll put this here and this there and this there, and I mean we're looking at some points. At this point, I may as well take this because we actually do. We have some live alligator / crocodile scoring right then and there. And if you're ending things on your turn, then this was my last turn. So I'm glad I got all that stuff established. I'm pretty happy with my situation here, actually. It is a shame to have left like only the high value cube on each of my cards, but you know, what are you gonna do? The answer is draw better discs.
Well, okay, this is what I'm doing then. Yeah, there. Some tree junk there. All right, let's see.
There's a lot of cubes on this table.
I figured you won.
For sure.
All right, how bad did you win
All right,
by?
hey, board game website, get off of the. Let me put the score on screen. Damn. So yeah, that's a pretty high scoring game overall. You got 25 points. Did you really? Yeah, you chopped your island. You just chopped all the corners off of your island. It's pretty good.
I was able to get cubes for most of that.
Yeah.
I think if I had run the game a little faster, I might have had it, because you had some high scoring turns there at the end, I think.
Yeah, my last turn was definitely like 15 points.
And like I was really concentrating on the cube scoring more than the feature scoring, and that certainly hurt me. Like if I found a way to, I think it was the right move to grab the 2 yellows and make it one big group, because it let me put down the 3 cubes, and those were like 10, 12. That was like 12 points there, and then 5 points from the group. But I would say I would have preferred having 2 groups of yellow.
Yeah.
You know, that would have been a lot more efficient.
Still, well done. 107. 107 as the player controlling the pace of the game. And like, I think this gap is smaller than it looks because like temporally, I think you're right. If you had played 1 turn faster, our scores would have been, if the game had ended 1 turn earlier, our scores would have been a lot closer. Because I had that big turn at the end.
Lazuli is asking about if either of us have heard of the game Here I Stand, and I have. Ed Beach, the designer of Here I Stand, actually worked on Civ 5.
Yes.
I think he was lead for Civ 5.
Mm-hmm.
And Here I Stand, Virgin Queen. I'm familiar with both those games. They're not my favorite games, but I understand why they resonate with people so much. You know, they're card-driven games. The kind of, you play the card for the event and or ops, and it's like 6 players, and it takes like 8 hours. And you know, I'm glad people have that in their lives. That's too long of a board game for me. If a board game's gonna be 8 hours, then I want it to be about trains.
Sure. So before we move on, this is the background music for chill out time here. As often is the case, the Relaxed Movement. This is the cloudy one, the April edition of their Creative Commons music. This channel has done so much work for us. We are very appreciative. Now, give me a second here to transition over into the thing we're talking about today, which is partially Warframe and partially sort of MMOs in general, as a thing that Amabel does not have a lot of familiarity with. I have played way too many hours of some MMOs, that is for damn sure.
I mean, my familiarity with MMOs is that those are games where you have to collect 6 mushrooms for someone and kill 20 whatevers over and over again. That's pretty much it, right? That's the gameplay loop?
That's it. That's the whole thing. Yeah, so, let me get situated here. Just to throw out sort of my bona fides in talking about MMOs here, which I'm about to do a bunch. I haven't really played an MMO in a couple of years. It's been a few years now, but I was a server first type progression raider for a while in World of Warcraft. I played a lot of years of World of Warcraft, and I have a little bit of experience with some other free to plays. I played like Archage. I don't know how that's pronounced, for like a year or so, right from launch. And you know what else I did? I played a bunch of EverQuest. I played EverQuest back when EverQuest was the hot new thing. But I was 11. I was not very good at EverQuest, and I don't remember all of it very clearly. That was some hot middle school, What's up? What's funny?
I just remember the time you're trying to remember who a singer was, and I said, "Is it EverQuest?" And you said no, and I said, "Was it Ultima Online?" And then you asked me if I was being helpful, and I said,
"That's very funny." Yeah. So I also I have a little bit of familiarity with Ultima Online because my ex played it religiously, even into the 2010s, which is an insane thing to do.
Now, in the early 90s, I tried playing a couple MUDs or MOOs. I'm not sure what the difference is. And I'm not sure how those relate to a Morpka.
Okay, so see, this is a thing. This is a thing I think is good to address right now. Jerry Jeff Haining in chat says, it's funny because I'd call MMO, I'd only call Warframe an MMO as a side thing. It's more a hack and slash dungeon delver. And I think there's an important distinction there. I think that what an MMO has sort of branched off. There's sort of like two major branches of MMO, and there's the big open world MMO that is like the style that Warcraft is, World of Warcraft, and then there's the thing that Warframe is, which is much more common in like your Korean MMOs and stuff, where a lot more of the world is instanced. It is much easier to play these kinds of games without ever actually encountering another person, if that is the way you want to play them. Whereas even in World of Warcraft, if you want to play solo, you're going to be in big zones fighting monsters where other people are. Encountering other players is not really avoidable in the big world MMOs. But in this, like, basically all content is instanced, which, does that mean anything to you, Amabel?
No.
The idea of something being instanced? It means like when I go into a dungeon, it generates an instance of that dungeon just for me, or just for whoever I'm partied with. And we are the only players in that place. Whereas in World of Warcraft, the dungeons are instanced, but most of the world is just like you're out there with the people. And I understand at this point, they sort of instance their large zones too, I think. They have like a couple of different versions of them running, but like, they'll dump 300 players into the Barrens or whatever. It used to be the case that everyone on a server was just in those zones together. Anyway, yeah, this is Warframe. This is my current frame. Here's the thing. I've just been playing the game for a little while, and I don't have much stuff. I do have... Look at Potatoes. He's here waiting for us. I do have more stuff than I should, given the amount of days that I've been playing, because I have been a little hyper-fixated. And I've been having we've mentioned a couple of times, I've been having some sleep difficulties due to some neurological stuff. And Potatoes just going to walk right through me. Thanks, Potatoes. Warframe's a really good game to play when you're kind of like half asleep and you might fall asleep for 2 or 3 seconds at any moment. I do a lot of micro sleeps when I get like this. And recording is not such a fun activity to do when your brain might just shut off for 4 seconds at any given moment. But Warframe is a pretty low stakes kind of situation. And I have done it many times already. So this is one of my 3 Warframes. These are called Warframes, your character class, basically. What a Warframe is, essentially, is a set of 5 abilities, a passive ability, and then 4 activated abilities. This is a very common format for like what makes a video game character. You see this in a lot of genres these days.
Okay.
And then like I have guns and a melee weapon and stuff, but that stuff is not tied to the character class. All of my Warframes can use all of my guns and companions and knives and whatnot. So I have more. You can see here I have a handful of weapons unlocked. I'm slowly working them all up in level. I just have 3 frames, Mag, my frame that I picked at the beginning of the game, and then 2 that kind of accidentally fell into my lap on my way just leveling. I have started my first actual like pick a frame that looks neat and start and work toward it, and we'll talk about that in a second. But these are just the ones that kind of accidentally fell on my head while I was leveling up. Limbo's kind of neat, but I get squashed. I find I have trouble dealing with like Limbo's abilities don't deal enough damage for me, and that's probably because I play him very badly because I don't really understand how all of his stuff works. Vauban, on the other hand, I understand Vauban. Vauban's very straightforward and murdery, and I've been having lots of good fun with him. So Amabel.
Yeah.
Do you have any like big picture questions? Aside from what do you do in Warframe? Because the answer is everything, and we're going to spend the rest of the stream kind of sketching that out, I think.
Big picture questions. What is the appeal of MMOs?
Well, there's a couple of big answers there. So one of them is some people just like to do a thing cooperatively with a bunch of people. When I was playing World of Warcraft, I was a raider primarily. The thing I liked in Warcraft was getting together with 25 to 40 people and coming up with a very complicated solution to the complicated problem of a raid boss. I like that large-scale cooperation. I like the preparation stuff we would do beforehand. I just like working a problem together with people in that way. But in the construction of the gameplay loops that make that interesting, the people building MMOs definitely happened upon a lot of other stuff that is very compelling to people. Like, we say the word grind, and we use grind semi-pejoratively. But honestly, the grind is part of the fun for a lot of people, and I am absolutely included in that. So, like, right now, let's talk about crafting for a second here. Right now, I have been trying to put together the materials to build this character that I'm talking about, right? This first Warframe that I am actually hunting down. I want to play Octavia. Octavia sounds fun. So, the way a Warframe is built in this game, you can see here I have a couple of Warframe blueprints. Generally speaking, they're made of 3 parts, neuroptics, systems, and a chassis, and then some kind of power cell, usually. You can see here, Ureli, I have the same deal. Neuroptics, chassis, systems, and Orokin cells. Each of these three parts that are specific to the Warframe also have to be built in your forge. So right now you can see I am building the chassis and systems for Octavia at no small cost, mind you. This game uses a lot of real-time crafting, as you can see here. These will be done in 7-ish hours. But because these were so expensive, I ran out of resources, and I need to get a lot more stuff, as you can see, for these neuroptics. I am short 2,000 polymer bundles and 1,300 plastids. I don't even know where I'm going to get 1,000 oxium, but whatever. This is the thing. So I am now grinding, we would say, for these resources. I know where some decent places to get some of this stuff are, and I am doing this kind of the same thing over and over again in those places, trying to get this stuff. And like, there's a lot to a grind. A grind is repetitive action where you're watching a number go up, and we all know that's a thing video game players love. A grind is opportunities for optimization. This is the thing video game players love. It's the thing I love, certainly. Just getting that loop tighter and more efficient, doing a better job every time. And then also it's just like an experience to just, it's an opportunity to just engage in the play of the game. And with Warframe, I think that's pretty fun too. Warframe, the actual gameplay, which we're finally going to go see now, is a pretty competent, I think, sort of character action, hack and slash, dungeon diving game that I've been having a lot of fun with. So the place I've been going to get the stuff that I need is here, Rosalind. So you can see this game takes place sort of all over the remnants of what is known as the Origin system.
These planets look familiar.
You might recognize one or two of these. Although some of them probably don't look quite the way you're familiar with them looking. But I've been going down here to Rosalind. Rosalind is where I'm at.
Your rate is.
I was gonna let you get there. By the way, feel free to tell me if people are pointing out that I'm wrong and dumb in the chat. I might be. This is my orbiter. I am heading down to Uranus. I can steer it on the loading screen. Woo! And I've done this mission several times. I did this mission like 3 or 4 times earlier today. So this is the grind. In a very real way, this is what makes up the majority of the gameplay in any MMO.
Flight system looks good. You're still in the clear.
So right now I am in my archwing, which basically makes me sort of like a fighter plane submersible kind of thing. Get out here, out of the water, into running around on land mode. Here's Potatoes. Potatoes came with me.
Yay!
He is a mighty combatant, perhaps the greatest hero of our age. And that's a dead enemy. So this mission is all about sneaking into a place and making off with some data that these people don't want me to have. And there's some like mild stealth elements in this game. The stealth is not the most important part of the thing. I'm going to just actually play this mission as best I can. If you have questions, go for it. But there's kind of a lot going on in this game, so I might not have the tightest commentary right now. I'm asking you to cover.
Okay.
Hell yeah, gallium.
Yeah, what's gallium?
So, you might notice, if you watch the
Is it
lines
like future HRT?
If you watch the lines of text across the bottom of the screen, you might notice that I'm picking up a lot of different kinds of shit. There are so many different resources in this video game. And we will be happening across an awful lot of... I should probably just call that... Fuck it. Fuck calling the elevator. I'm invincible. Whatever. You'll notice we'll be happening across a lot of, like, little containers of stuff. And I will be smashing them open and acquiring things. And also enemies will be dropping things. And I will be picking up so much stuff over the course of this mission that by the end of the mission, I will have no idea even what it is I grabbed. I'll tell you what, I am for sure not actually watching the bottom of the screen. Who's shooting at me? Who dares? Oh, you're dead already. Well, I think Potatoes handled it. Anyway, we're going this way.
Good job. I just want to know more about Potatoes.
Look at him. Look at him getting that guy. Potatoes is great. He does good damage. He incapacitates dangerous enemies. He'll sneak up on a guy and just like pin him to the ground so he's not a threat. Potatoes is brilliant. One of the greatest heroes of our age, as you well know, as I have often said.
So you said it at least once.
All right, Potatoes got that dude.
Okay.
So you will notice that I am perhaps a little strong for this area. Anything going on in here? No, this is... But that's fine. This is part of the grind. If the content is actually, like, challenging on an individual level, it's not really the grind.
The target console is nearby.
Okay, yeah.
If you trigger the alarms now, the enemy will start destroying data.
Now, how does this work? It's just like is a hacking mini game? Is that what that is?
Yeah, there's a couple of different hacking mini games actually. The different factions have like different computer systems, but I was disabling the security there because I'm about to enter the area where I am trying to steal important data from these bad guys, and this is a bit of a stealth element of the game. So much current. Okay. If I set off the alarms, if I get caught by the bad guys while I am in the area of the map that is close to the important data, they will set off the alarm and they will begin deleting the important data. And I need them to not do that. That data is important. So we must avoid setting off the alarm.
Romulus in the chat says Potatoes is a funny name because that's what the community calls catalysts and reactors.
Oh, interesting. I just named him Potatoes because he looks like a potatoes to me. I think that's what he would have chosen to name himself if he spoke English. Oh,
Also, you're very fond of potatoes.
I am. I am also a bad at the video game, and I stepped in a laser there. So the alarm is now going off. But it's okay. You can see we have a little timer for how long it's going to take them to delete the data. Uh-oh. And I have hacked the thing before the timer ran out because we were very close to...
Okay.
We were very close to the end of that infiltration when I set off the alarm. Part of it is that I know what I'm doing already here because, like I said, I did this mission like 4 times earlier today.
Yeah. Andrea says, who isn't fond of potatoes? Which
right?
I suppose that's true. I have met people who don't like potatoes.
Okay.
Not the dog. I think potatoes the dog. Everyone loves that
potatoes the dog is universally beloved and for good reason. Now I have to remember how to get out of here. Who are you? Get out of here. How does one leave? Aha. I think that guy just shot a rocket launcher at me.
Well, that's rude.
I'm resolutely refusing to use any of my Warframes abilities because I have this big stick and it solves all my problems.
I mean, that feels par for the course for you.
Careful. Stream's PG-13. It's not. You can say fuck as much as you want. Hooray, a crate of polymers.
So, the other...
I need so many polymers.
You know, from the little bit I know about, like, a World of Warcraft, it does not... I did not get the impression that it is as fluid or fast-paced as this is. Like, there's a lot of, like, acrobatic... movements seems to be a big...
being directed in a circle by these waypoints?
Focus here.
Yeah, this is a much more sort of action-focused game than World of Warcraft. This was not really the game you play online, but it like moves like a single-player game and is actually like fun to play on a moment-to-moment basis. Was not really a thing that existed when World of Warcraft first came out.
Okay.
Internet connections and computers were not in a place for this yet. So who knows? Maybe this is what they would make if they were making the game now. And they certainly over the years have remade the game's engine in a variety of ways and tried to make it a little bit more active and moment to moment engaging. But yeah, this is definitely. Oh hey, that's some kind of thing. That's the wrong button. Here we go. Watch as I continue to engage with 6,000 different systems. Plastids.
Yeah, because you've been explaining bits and pieces of this thing to me since you've been playing it.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, first of all, I got much more interested when you told me about potatoes.
Yeah, I knew that would catch you.
But there's a lot of stuff going on and a lot of like interacting subsystems and different kinds of resources, and it's a lot. It feels really overwhelming, but I know that you love that.
I do.
You love having all that, so it makes sense to me that this is a game that would resonate with you.
So one thing I like about these spy missions, and I think this is true of the sort of the level design on the whole overall, but the spy missions make the best use of it. There are often a lot of ways to go from place to place, a lot of ways to get places, and the game really rewards exploration and like paying attention to your surroundings. So like we need to get in there. The console we need to hack is in there. There is absolutely no way from this room to that room directly. There's some unbreakable glass there. There's some kind of machinery line going on over here, and I think you can get into the water somewhere around here. I did it once. And there's like a pool. You can see there's a place you could come up from the water. But what we're going to do, the way I have figured out to do this that I like the most, is if we climb all the way up this machinery here, there's this gap in the ceiling.
Oh, okay.
And then we can break through some grates. And they're not totally unaware of this. They have these like scanners in here, and we need to not touch these, or we will set the alarm off if we make contact with these. But if we get through here, this is a pretty low risk way to get. And then we want to drop down and turn this way. This is a pretty low risk way to get access to that room.
Romulus points out there are many different types of dogs and cat-themed animals you can have,
That
and a
is
few
absolutely
robots.
true.
I have seen a robot companion that you have.
Okay, cool. I don't know.
I've not seen a cat yet, but you're more of a dog person.
I don't know if you saw when we got into a fight with that enemy over there. This other enemy ran over to this box. In order to set off the alarm, they do have to actually interact with the control console and stuff. So I was able to head that off at the pass. Oops. There we go.
Extracted. They won't even know it's gone.
Easy as lion. All right, we got one more console to hack, and this is a thing where like it is a successful mission. I get mission success and all the you did a good job, congratulations on the screen, as long as we manage to hack one of the consoles.
Okay.
Notice the containers sometimes have different shapes depending on what's in them, so I can at a glance know that that is full of polymers, which we need a lot of. So I can see one of those cases from, across a room or down a hallway and know that that's a thing we got to pay attention to. The alarms are on right now, and I'm just going to reset them real quick.
So present company excluded, who is your favorite dog in video games?
Favorite dog in video? That's a... Because there are a lot of good ones.
Like 4? Are there 4 good ones? Is 4 a lot?
Is this a bit? Where's this bit going?
I'm not sure. Okay. I don't plan my bits.
Okay.
It's not a mean question to ask. No, it's... Do wolves count as dogs? That's a...
All right, so this... Hold on, let me real quick distract you.
Yeah.
This area is full of drones that cannot be sneak killed. They don't have a run up behind me and kill me in one button press animation, and they have very long range scanners and stuff. It's very difficult to get around in here, and the console we need is 40 meters that away. But what I have discovered about this area is that if we crawl around here and we bust up the pipes, we can fill the area with water, and those drones do not operate well in water. So I'm just going to find... There's a couple of different areas here where... Yeah, there we go. We can raise the water level. And I'm just going to let the water carry us up to the top, and you can see the drones exploding as they submerge. Seems like a terrible choice to include them in an underwater base, but, I'm not in the business of correcting my enemy's mistakes. I think we should allow them to fuck up and be terrible at things. There we go. Easy. All right, I think this is good enough.
You did it, baby.
Very quickly, just kill the one guy who was on guard here. And let's hack this. So, favorite video game dog. Do we have people coming in chat?
We have... Okay, so we have someone suggested dog meat. I don't know who dog meat is.
Dog meat's a winner for sure.
Okay, what's dog meat from?
So dog meat is the canonical name of the dog from Fallout. And then one of the one of the things Bethesda did to try to prove to their to perhaps nervous consumers that no, we totally played the original Fallouts before making our game is they have made it the canonical name for every dog in the series going forward. All dogs are dog meat, which sucks. But, you know, Bethesda doesn't know shit about Fallout. And that's why they have made all those Elder Scrolls games with Fallout skins over them.
All right.
We're just going to move right along.
Yeah, okay. That's the only.
You know, honestly, the pariah dog from Fallout 2 is a top tier canine companion in my opinion.
Now, the dog is a pariah?
Yes. There is a cursed dog in Fallout 2. It is a random encounter you can get in the world. It's just a dog sitting in the middle of a field, and there's just corpses, just like hundreds of corpses around it. And the dog is horribly bad luck and jinxes everyone around it. But first of all, that makes me feel bad for the dog. And secondly, it's actually kind of horrifying in combat because it'll go after your enemies and they'll try to shoot at it and their guns will explode in their hands, or they'll drop them, or they'll just like fall down trying to get away. It turns combat into just an absolute nightmare for everybody, which is very funny.
We're also getting people suggesting the dog/wolf from RE4. I don't know what RE4 is.
Resident Evil 4.
Oh, okay. Is that the one with...
Look at all the loot I got. Woo.
Yay. Someone asked if Red 13 from Final Fantasy VII counts.
You know, the way you asked the question, I would think so.
Okay.
We're gonna do this one more time. I'm not gonna spend the stream grinding, but I am gonna do this one more time. So the reason I'm doing this mission, in particular, is that 2 of the 3 things that we need a bunch of drop from just enemies and containers on Neptune specifically. Every like ingredient in the game has like a couple of different celestial bodies that it comes from. And Uranus. Uranus is the overlap for plastids and polymers. This is the planet that drops them both. We're doing this mission specifically because, first of all, I like the spying missions. I think we just got a little... Did y'all see that flicker? I did not. I am concerned. But yeah, I like spy missions in general, but also there is a Warframe, apparently, that all of the parts of it drop from getting all 3 of the containers, or getting all 3 of the consoles hacked in various spy missions around the world, or around the galaxy, around the system. And so I am trying to earn more of that Warframes part blueprints, because, you know, it would be cool to build more Warframes.
I mean, so here's the thing about like running a mission over and over again. You know, do you enjoy that? Do you feel like you're gaining a sense of mastery over the environment? And
well, I mean, yeah, it's like, first of all, you're working systems, right?
There's a heavy unit approaching.
And it is nice to get better at the systems. What you're seeing is mostly like stuff that I'm already pretty practiced at, though. Like, I can run around and punch guys who are lower than my level. That's not much of a challenge. But yeah, there's that. There's also, you might have noticed, if you were paying attention, Amabel.
Yes?
Nothing, I love you, I'm sorry. You might have noticed that the maps are not actually identical from attempt to attempt. Warframe uses a bit of procedural generation, a very common sort of procedural generation, in that it's cobbling together a level from a bunch of pre-generated like rooms.
Okay.
So like the layout of the area behind the security door on each of these consoles is going to be exactly the same from run to run, but the layout of the level leading up to it is different, and so there is still some like explore and navigate going on, even when you are running the same mission for a third time or whatever, which I appreciate. The door I want is this one back here. It's always this one, and I never go to it. So yeah, I appreciate that. I think the game benefits a lot from sort of the technological place that we are in, that we have been in since it came out. Again, not a thing that was like on the table for World of Warcraft when it launched.
All right.
But also, you know, I have in my mind the numbers that are going up. You know, we gained 500 something plastids on that last run, and I'm thinking, okay, well, that's like a third of the way to the number of plastids that I needed. Is this even a useful direction? Hold on. I missed a thing. Not that I need more cyan stars. Am I right, gamers? Come on now.
How do you feel about the pace of the progression of, you know, you're a third of the way to the things you need, how long it takes to get those things?
I mean, like,
because I know this is a free to pay. Is that what it's called?
Free to play.
Free to play. Okay.
All things are free to pay. That's how paying works.
But it's a game where you can play it for free, but like there are microtransactions built in.
Sorry, I guess working for a mining company is pay to pay. Another day older and deeper in debt, etc. So no, the Warframe has transactions. These are normal sized transactions where you pay money for a thing.
Okay. I don't know how all this. I don't know what I don't know. You know,
some of them I would describe as macro transactions. If you want to spend $200 on a cartoon robot, they will let you. But yeah, so like Warframe is a game you could play for free, and this is the thing I knew that this was going to be a topic for sure. Warframe is a game you can play for free, and a lot of MMOs out there can be played for free. There's that free to play with a wink on the end of it is I think a thing that is pretty well known, and it's like the question is always to what extent. Sure, I can play for free. To what extent? In Warframe, I think Warframe's pretty generous. I have spent already. Ooh, I'm actually gonna die if I'm not a little bit more careful. Need my shields. I threw a trap back there that is doing some work. I'm gonna throw out a couple more sort of autonomous traps. You can see these little rolling friends. They will seek out enemies and electrocute them like so. And this guy, this is his whole deal. He's like a trap master. So all of his skills are kind of like various kinds of traps, and in fact, his second skill is 4 different kinds of traps that you choose from. So if you see that bar over there on the right with like the red symbol next to some other symbols, I can flip through the various kinds of traps I have available on that button. The flechette orb is my sort of general go-to. Oh no! I didn't buy more scanner. Okay, I gotta buy more scanner. Anyway. Yeah, Warframe is pretty good about it. I think the place where Warframe is gonna potentially get your money is if you are impatient. We showed a little bit of the crafting menu earlier. A lot of things in the game have a real-time crafting time. In particular, new character classes. If you're trying to build yourself a new frame, which is, you know, a pretty significant portion of the gameplay of the game is in the Warframes. you're talking about probably a 12-hour build for each of the pieces, and that can be concurrent, but it won't necessarily be concurrent. Followed by, like, once you have all 3 of the pieces and the power cells you need, you might be looking at like another 3 days for the full thing to be built out of those chunks. That's what Vauban took for me.
Okay.
And you can rush anything in the crafting system by just applying a little bit of platinum, which is the, purchase it with real dollars currency. Aside from that, pretty much everything in the game, most things in the game can be acquired without paying any real money into the system, without spending any platinum, with the one critical exception of slots. You can only have... Did it just drop over dead in front of me? What happened there? I think he touched the water and just died. Okay, well, whatever. Works for me. This is where they keep all the hydrophobic soldiers. Yeah, slots. At the beginning of the game, you only have the unlocked slots for 2 warframes and like a handful of weapons. And slots cost like a little bit of plat. It's like 20 for a warframe and 12 for a weapon, I think. But unlike a lot of these games, the currency, this platinum, the currency that can only be brought into the game by somebody spending money, is fully transferable. You can trade other players for platinum. So while you do need platinum to get your slots, somebody has to have paid. It doesn't have to be you. If you can find something another player will give you platinum for, then you can remain free of charge.
Which is how you've been playing it, so.
That's not true. I have not had to spend very much platinum, but I did put in $5.
Okay, yeah.
Because there's a pack on Steam that gives you like one of the more powerful mods already leveled all the way up, which saves you a bunch of materials. And also, it's $5 for a gun and this leveled up mod and more platinum than just straight buying platinum would give you for $5. Which is weird. It's a weird decision, it feels like, but yeah, once I realized, I was happy to do it.
Yeah, the way you're explaining it to me is that this earlier, like like the first couple days you're playing this, is that it feels like one of the least predatory versions of this.
Again, with the caveat that if you are not a person who can, put your new character class on a 3-day timer and just walk away, they might find a way to wring some extra cash out of you for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also just skip all of the hullabaloo of the finding parts and the materials and whatnot, and just buy characters whole with platinum. But the price of doing that is a little more prohibitive. It's like it is like 300 something platinum for a lot of the characters, which I think in practice ends up being. We'll look in a second. I don't remember what the platinum conversion.
But I mean, it feels like you have a sense of accomplishment. Building towards something, getting something done, and getting a reward for it that you wouldn't get if you just bought it.
Yeah, I actually like that it takes so much effort. It does make it feel like
an event.
Well, what I was gonna say, and this is the saddest shit in the universe, but whatever. It makes it feel like accomplishing something. And I want to make it real clear to everybody that I know that it is not accomplishing something, but it feels like it.
What is an accomplishment anyway,
Amabel, I am never going to stop denigrating myself for playing video games. I don't know how to do it.
For a living.
I'm sorry, I just don't know how.
I'm so sorry that you have...
I have a lot of weird internalized shame.
I know, and you should.
At least,
I mean, do I?
at least some of which comes from my parents for sure, but also, you know, society in general, I think, is in there.
I mean, as someone who makes games for a living, I mean, I also have it. Like, I frequently tell people I don't have a real job. But I mean, it is a job. It is work. I am doing a thing. But like, I also feel like, you know, the job I have is not one where I need to report to an office and deal with a boss or clients or anything, you know?
Oh, I thought I saw a good container over here. Yeah, no, and it's definitely like to some extent like it's just the nightmare of capitalism that has been driven into us socially. Like we don't have jobs that are on the sort of like the prestige list. And while we're over here, aha, polymers! I knew it. I could feel it. I could feel that there was a good container.
Jerry says, you have a real audience who likes your content and likes you, SB. We show up because you specifically are great and make content we enjoy.
That's very kind. And I certainly do not want to imply anything negative about my audience in the business of implying negative stuff about myself. I don't want to be like, I suck, so you suck for liking me. But yeah, I definitely think like just a lot of it's just like, you know, society tells us that this is not productive work. And who am I to argue with society? So that's like one of the kinds of missions in Warframe, right? There's a bunch of different kinds. If we just look around, if we just take a moment here to really look around Uranus, you can see here there's spying, there's sabotage, capture, survival missions, disruption, and interception. There's a lot of different things. Assassination means boss fight. There's quite a lot of bosses. Definitely one of my least favorite things about the game. Not that there are bosses, but the way that they have designed about what seems to be about half of their bosses.
Yeah.
But let's go look at something that's a little bit different here. So like there are a couple of places in the game where you have just sort of like open world areas. Let's drop into Orb Vallis for a moment.
Okay. Jerry says the Rail Guardians kind of suck and are pretty outdated design-wise.
But at least they die very quickly. I'm thinking more of like, what's it called? The big 3-headed guy. And like, there are a lot of bosses in this game where the thing is they're invincible for about like 50% of the time. And then they do some kind of attack that opens up a weak point or something. And you shoot at the weak point and it does a very small amount of damage because they've implemented some pretty harsh damage scaling to keep people from just like dramatically outscaling the game. And then you wait for them to open up again and... yeah, that stuff could be a real bummer. So this is my fucking cool hoverboard.
Cool beans.
I could do tricks. I could grind a rail. I can also like run myself off the road and die horribly in an embarrassing way. Yeah. In theory, I can grind a rail. I don't know if I'm gonna.
Okay. A few days ago, I had a question to ask you, and you were in the middle of a boss fight. So I said, "Well, I'll just stand here and wait for you to finish this boss fight." And like 20 minutes later, you had gotten through like a third of their hit points, and I was like, okay, that's too much.
So yeah, you can see there's like these big open world spaces, and there are things to do in them. There are missions, there are repeatables, there are faction grinds and stuff, you know. I actually am earning reputation right now, believe it or not. There's a faction of children living in the vents of this horrible like coal mining city, and they are the ones who build these cool hoverboards, and just running around in the world and doing tricks gets you reputation with them.
That's pretty good. Important question from Jerry for you. Are you pro or against Mommy Spider Boss? I don't know what that means.
Might not know what you're talking about. It's possible I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have the whole star map unlocked yet. There's definitely like stuff I haven't seen yet. And I will say this, like, there is a huge amount of stuff in this game. Holy hell. As a person who has played a lot of MMOs at various points in their sort of life cycles, I am sort of flabbergasted by the amount of content that is in this game. I did not mean to do that. Yay, run into stuff. I can't believe that didn't kill me. Not kill me, but you know, like, you absolutely can bail. Here's a kaiju.
I see it now.
That'll
pretty good.
That'll kill the shit out of me if I don't get out of here. So we're just gonna bounce real quick.
That's one of the mommy spider bosses.
Okay. My feeling on those is I run away from them because I sure did get the entire hell murdered out of me on at least one occasion. One fun thing you can do. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it off here, or if I just get myself killed trying. One fun thing you can do is you can board stomp enemies, and if you get the perfect Mario stomp, it does seem to kill them in one hit. It is, as you might imagine, relatively difficult to do. It's incredibly satisfying every single time, though. Alright, let's, real quick here, just pop back to Fortuna. I just wanted to show off the existence of the boards.
Cool.
Could you open the elevator door faster, please? Look at this. Poor Potatoes is freezing. I did it. I picked up a thermal sludge and 200 vent kids rep for doing sick flips. So there's a whole like workers song musical intro the first time you come into Fortuna, and you fight to liberate these people from the mining company and set up a union, and it's fucking rad. I very much enjoyed this part of the game. And if we crawl all the way up here, this vent right here, you can hear them. This is where the vent kids live, and they have their fucking... They have their fucking incomprehensible British child dialect.
Okay, I can't hear them at all because I'm only watching it on the...
But you can see the subtitles.
I can see this, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not sharing the stream directly with you. That could change. Here's this. I'm sorry, I didn't even think about it.
That is certainly an outfit.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the kids already have prosthetics because
there's steam out of that child's head.
Yes, a lot of these children already have robotic prosthetics because of the realities of living in a mining camp. And everything that's going on here is extremely fucked. But we kicked the company's ass and drove them out, so hopefully it'll be better next generation. Hopefully. Let me go back outside and show you some of the adults. Who's around? Who's hanging out? Here's some people working. You might notice some things about these folks.
Apparently, the character Ticker in this game is canonically trans and is one of Jasper's favorite characters.
That's cool. Ticker's around here somewhere.
It takes long
Yeah.
winter nights to teach a girl how to cultivate within herself invincible summer days.
That is some trans as shit. I've never heard dialogue that was more trans than that. This is a whole like debt bonds and stuff. This is where I hired the crew for my fucking awesome spaceship.
Check back in a little bit.
Y'all want to go? You want to see my my awesome spaceship?
Yeah.
Here, we'll go back to the orbiter, which is not the awesome spaceship I'm talking
Wait,
about.
but if we go to your spaceship, we will be able to see Jonathan Quarterly, the big account.
All right, you want to see Jonathan? Hey, Potatoes, how's it going? Here's the, oh no! In order to show you Jonathan, I have to. I think the right way to do this is we go to companions here. We swap out Potatoes for his little brother. Now, I've typed Stompy Face because the game would not accept his full correct name of Jonathan Quarterly the Mega Hound. It says that's too many characters. But look at his build. Have you ever seen a more Mega Hound? Anyway, we're going to keep Potatoes out because I'm going to go do a thing. Although Potatoes is not going to participate in this thing a huge amount. Well, switch over into Railjack mode here, and we'll just do a Railjack mission real quick because I do want to, like, when I say this game has a lot of stuff in it.
Yeah.
Y'all, this game has a lot of stuff in it. Let's go to the Ogal cluster. We'll just skirmish with some dudes.
I'm excited. I want to see you.
Watch me get. Thank you, Amabel. You know what I love about working with you is the professionalism. So this is my huge warship. It's called a Railjack. Here's my crew running around like idiots. He's getting in the gunner's seat. He's taking up that ventral turret. I should probably get on the wheel before we come out of hyperspace. All right, so we need to shoot down some stuff. So I have two crew on board right now. One of them is a gunner. One of them is assigned to gunning, helping me out in the gunner seat down there. The other one is on engineering duty because this ship has armor that is perhaps a little thinner than I might like in a lot of places. And we do suffer a hull breach from time to time. And I am capable of fixing a hull breach, but it is tedious and annoying. All right, over here we got a cruise ship. These things are a little bit more hard-nosed. I am not going to actually be able to kill the cruise ship with the weapons we got on here. Okay. Ship's not moving anymore because we got a catastrophe in the offing. But if we run over here, you'll see my engineering it up. She'll get it. She's got it. She's good at her job. All right. I can operate my ship again. So we're just going to drop the shields on this thing. I'm trying to burn out the engines on this cruise ship before I do the other thing. You know what? It's pretty fucked. I think this is good enough. Let me just swap over here to the forward artillery station. These things require a little bit of extra juice to get the job done. Catastrophic failure imminent means that there's another hull breach. But again, we trust the engineer. She'll get it done. She's got it. You hear that? Breach sealed.
All right.
Never doubted it for a second.
I could not do the shooting in 3 dimensions. That's...
All right, we're going to artillery fire this other cruise ship right here. I only have 2 of these shells on board, so...
Romulus is asking, do you know you can board the enemy ships and destroy them from the inside?
I do. I was gonna show that off, but actually, okay. This is a mission that only requires us to destroy 2 cruise ships. So I guess we're not going to do that right now. But yeah, you can slip out into your archway, which you're going to see here in a second. We're gonna disable this hangar that's issuing 4th enemy ships, and the only way to do that is going to be to go inside because our weapons definitely cannot destroy this whole asteroid. But yeah, you can, especially if you've disabled a cruise ship, it's really easy to just run right up to it, dump yourself outside in your archwing, fly over to it like a fighter, enter it, and then either, go mess with the reactor, kick off a reactor overload, or just commandeer it, fly it around yourself. That's actually a really great way to get them destroyed because the enemies will... As soon as the enemies figure out what you're doing, they will turn and fire on it. And that both gets it killed and distracts some of your enemies for a minute.
Ram sled launch. Optimus inbound.
We do not rail sled. That's a boarding craft that this asteroid just tried to fire at me.
No, thank you.
All right, it's cool. My gunner's got it. I trust my gunner. There's a lot of like mines and stuff in the air here. I'm not really sure where it is on this thing that you enter it. You know what? This is fine. We'll just park the ship here. Let the gunner and engineer do gunner and engineer stuff, and let's take a walk.
Fire crew, attention needed. We're near dry dock. They are working on something. I want to know what. Infiltrate.
All right, easy. Just hurl yourself into the ship at maximum speed. You can see here there's definitely some damage.
Yeah.
Oops. Clumsy. That's all right. Potatoes has got this guy, probably. All right, so we're going to go in here, and we're going to just expose some critical parts of their vessel to a little bit of percussive maintenance. You know, I'm going to drop some of my autonomous traps here, and we're going to let them handle a lot of the enemies while I find my way to the reactor control center. Here we go. This is exactly the sort of thing I'm looking for. These are the same guys that we were in the base of moments ago, so that's why the computer system looks pretty familiar. Okay, so I have exposed the thing on the outside of the ship. Were you, say, playing with other human players at this point, you could trust your crew on board your handy Railjack to just go and deal with that for you. As it stands, nobody on my Railjack knows how to fly the damn ship, so we're kind of on our own as far as that stuff goes. But I might be able to just handle this from my Archwing. Yeah, no problem.
One down, one to go.
Just bounce myself off the the bulkhead again here. Oh, cool. The second reactor control terminal is right here. I guess we chose the right door.
So does Potatoes have an Archwing?
Nope. Potatoes, you know,
Crew,
I think Potatoes is just out there. Just kind of hanging off of ours. I think that's what happens.
How is Potatoes breathing?
Potatoes doesn't need to breathe.
Aid me, ere I breathe my last.
Uh-oh.
R&D facility. Steal the command crew.
Jerry says Potatoes has a Pokeball, more or less. I don't know what a Pokeball is.
Pokeball. Come on, Amabel. You're not even trying. A Pokeball, obviously, like a Pokemon.
I don't know Pokemon.
So apparently there's a destroyer in this dock.
Crewmate down. Genetic signature logged for posterity.
Oh dear, one of my crewmates actually got... Okay, that's not ideal.
R&D acquired. We know people who can make good use of this. Enemy infrastructure neutralized. Filing mission as complete.
Okay. We have in fact stolen that ship. Now I gotta get back to my ship. Oh wait, this is... Hold on. Is this my... This is... How do I get out of... This is the first time I've ever stolen a ship like that. Okay, I just needed to hang out in here for a minute until they opened the gates. Huh. I was awarded a neuroptics blueprint for a... Oh god.
Brace for decompression.
So we got boarded, extremely boarded. In case you were wondering, hey, why did my crew member die? This is why.
Hull breach. Venting ammo.
Now, is the crew member just dead?
No. Probably
Okay,
not.
I don't...
Probably not. I don't actually know that. So we have a hull breach. We also have 600 enemies on board the ship. So I'm just trying to...
Order everything that is inside this ship will be outside this ship.
Thank you, Cephalon. All right, let's try and get my torch out, and they seem to be under control.
Oh, that kind of torch. I thought it'd be a flashlight.
Repressurizing.
Who would call a flashlight a torch, Amabel? That's ridiculous.
I'm sorry, electric torch.
Ram sled teams neutralized.
Okay. We're good. We did it, in theory.
Launch detected. Looks like a party.
How are there still ram sleds? Okay, let's fucking leave. I hate this asteroid. Actually, what am I doing? The way we're leaving is this, the navigation bar. I'm just going to take us back to the relay. So yeah, there's that. There's some flying around stuff. There's some space fighting stuff. There are missions that happen entirely in the Archwing as well. So more of like fighter scale space combat stuff.
A lot of stuff in this game.
I like the crude warship vibe though. So yeah, some blueprints for a piece of a Warframe that I'm not familiar with. And also lots of other stuff, some of which I don't even know what it is. We've also been getting a lot of mods, which I haven't talked about yet. This is an important thing. Maybe we'll go back to the lander or the orbiter and talk about mods a little bit. You okay? Are we all good? Everybody's good? Yeah, see, they're fine. They're all fine. All right, so yeah, there's, of course, leveling and upgrades and stuff that can be done to the, what's it called? Here, go ahead and contribute that. A slight increase to our shield array. Sorry, there will be in 12 hours. You know how it is.
Okay, yeah.
And there's various different weapon systems that could be fiddled with, and all kinds of stuff. I did get a 6 skin for my Railjack. That's very dramatic. So remember, Amabel, I told you there was a ghost ship. This is the ghost ship. We got a skin that looks like the ghost ship. I mean, it's pretty cool. Oh wait, no, I meant to keep that.
Yeah.
Hold on. Equip. Yeah. All right, I'm not going to worry about this thing anymore. So we're here at the station with all the people. Here's my man Cephalon Samaris. He's a big computer or whatever. He's always doing that, which I find very disconcerting. Just zooming right in on my face. And then watching me very closely as I walk away.
You don't like that?
Making me really uncomfortable. It's not,
Okay,
I don't like it. I don't like it when he does it.
Okay, it's okay when I do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So we're here. So what was I about to talk about? Mods. So like, here's the thing about Warframe that I think is actually really interesting as a design. Your character and your gear, everything can level up. Everything has a level from 1 to 30. But leveling up changes the stats of the thing by a remarkably small amount. Like, I think with my first Warframe, I looked this up on the wiki. With my first Warframe, at level 1, max health is like 280, and at level 30, max health is 380. You get almost no gain in effectiveness just from leveling up. Except, let me swap to something that does not have levels on it so you can really see the effect here. What leveling up gets you that's really important is mod capacity. I have all of these different mods, and you can see they have in the top right an amount of mod capacity that they consume. These are where the huge value of your stats is going to come from, and you can see that each one of these has like a number of like dots at the bottom of it.
Okay,
that represents the mod's ability to level up. So like hydraulic crosshairs here is currently level 0 and could be leveled up to 5 times. And with a lot of mods, leveling it up just adds the base, like the level 0 value to it again. So like, for example here, let me show you like a rifle.
Okay.
There's this mod here that gives 15% damage, right? Just a flat, multiplicatively applied 15% damage. That's pretty good, right? Obviously, you would want that. Look at how many little dots there are under there. This is my fully leveled version of that mod. Plus 165 damage. That's pretty great. It also requires 14 mod capacity. A low-level weapon can't even host this alone, much less this and a bunch of other modifications, right? Some of the mod slots have what's known as a polarity, like a suit almost. And if you put a mod in a slot that has the same polarity, it halves the capacity consumption. So this is an important difference between weapons, in addition to like all of the guns functioning in different ways, thus actually playing differently. They also have different sets of slot polarities, and there are things you can do to modify the polarity and to add extra slots and to add more polarities. And, there's 100 different systems having to do with just the mods. But like, this is what gaining power in the game is leveling up for the purpose of gaining capacity so that you can slot more stuff. And as you can see here, most of my mods are not leveled up. I have a lot of room to gain power here, but this shit is expensive. So in addition to requiring credits, just sort of the all-purpose currency, leveling up mods requires this other currency, Endo. You can see I actually have quite a lot of it right now, but that's a lot of this I got today. Because of a couple of things that I was able to cash in. It is actually very expensive to level up. Say we wanted to just like use this as an example. Leveling it once and roughly doubling its effectiveness and adding a point of drain to it costs 10 Endo. But as we keep pushing it up, the fusion cost is increasing geometrically. And if I wanted to level this all the way up, it would cost 10,000 Endo, which I don't have. And this doesn't even have as many slots as like the Serration does. So actually, maybe that's a bad example. This one totally does. But you can see there are a lot of different kinds of mods for a lot of different things. There are mods specifically for improving your companions. There are mods for every different kind of weapon. Some of the mods do like really weird things, like reducing damage while you're airborne. And, reducing enemy accuracy, which is cool. Some of them are fighting styles for your melee weapons that add different like attacks and combos. And it's like just change the base functionality of the weapon. Some of them modify your abilities, your base stats, pretty much anything you can think of. Yeah, this right here, this is why Potatoes has that behavior where he like tackles people. I could take this off of him because it is a mod. You can alter your companion's behavior with mods. So yeah, this is like the mods are really like the actual mechanical heart of the game, and it's expensive to level them all up. Fortunately, as you can see, like I have very little modding, just like what seemed to me to be the most important ones leveled up, and not even all the way, in a lot of cases.
Okay.
And it's good enough, right? Like I'm getting through.
Yeah. Before you go anywhere,
Yes.
we have a demand from the chat.
Okay.
Can you go near Potatoes and press the interact button?
Yeah, if I can get him to come out of the incubator a little bit. I'm a little worried that if I do it here, it's just going to interact with the incubator. Yeah, like that. Potatoes, buddy, you want to come away from objects? Okay, well, that'll probably do. Buddy, come here. Yeah, there we go.
So good.
I do.
Oh my god, that's so good.
That does actually approach one of my criticisms of the game. They wanted to work on consoles, so I get it. But like, there is all the buttons are so overloaded. I really wish there were like at least a couple of different interact buttons, because like right now, stealth kill a guy and interact with a computer the guy is standing next to are the same button. And if you approach a guy who's not paying attention to you and he's close to a computer, it could be a little bit of a toss-up which thing's going to happen when you press that button. And so I do wish there were at least like two different interacts, right? Like one for hostiles and one for other stuff. But yeah, this is kind of like the vibe. This is the vibe of Warframe. I'm gonna get my Octavia. Octavia is part of the reason I'm interested in Octavia is she's like music based. She has a special musical instrument called a mandochord that she plays while you're using her abilities, and it actually lets you sort of I'm gonna use the word compose, and I want you to understand that I mean it in an extremely limited way. You're actually allowed to like compose your own sounds to play with the mandochord, and it's just a neat little MIDI synthesizer kind of thing to play with in the game. But there are a lot of Warframes, and they are very different from one another, and in some cases like very complicated. This is another thing that I'm pretty impressed by, is just sort of like the breadth of capability that is in this game. There is definitely going to be, however you like to play these games, there is going to be at least one Warframe that does the thing that you want, and probably more than one. They're all weird, and some of them are like I said, very complicated and strange. Like this dude. This isn't that complicated, but he has access to this alternate dimension called the Rift. And if you do your dodge, you just step aside into the Rift, a spatially coincident alternate dimension. Things that are not in the Rift can't interact with things that are, and vice versa. So you can just kind of sidestep out of reality at any moment, and your energy slowly recharges while you're in there. And then all of his abilities have to do with pushing things into and pulling things out of the Rift. So like his first ability is just like, it's a nuke, and it also shifts the enemies you hit with it out of whichever version of the reality you're in. This will freeze enemies who are in the Rift. This, you put it on enemies who are in the Rift, and when they come out of the Rift, they explode and then banish everything that's around them, so they put them back in the Rift. And then this one makes an area in the Rift, and like, I don't know how to apply this stuff in a sensible way in combat situations. When things get panicky and I'm playing Vauban, it's just like, hey, I'm going to throw a bunch of traps down and shoot the enemies with my gun. With this guy, I'm trying to do math on like, what is the best way to get the enemies to shift in and out such that they're triggering as many things as possible and banishing other enemies nearby, which causes them to take damage because they're changing shape again. And like, he does look cool, and he has a top hat. I will say that. That's a vibe. That's a whole thing. I think he has a strong aesthetic. This cape is not stock. This is an aftermarket cape I have attached to him. But yeah, he's not even like he's not even the most complicated dude, for sure. Another one I was looking at that I think is pretty neat is this one, who is covered in ghost wolves. You are a robot who is a pack of wolves, and each of the wolves, each of the buttons is a wolf, and they do different things based on whether you just tap the button or whether you held the button down. And and look at all the sick wolves. These are the wolves. Varuna seems awesome. I don't have any of her parts. I chose to go for Octavia because I stumbled into 2 of Octavia's blueprints. But this is definitely like a midterm consideration for me. I have no idea if they're actually like good or not, but she's rad, and that's better than good.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I do want to highlight a comment from Romulus.
I have not looked at the chat in an entire hour.
Okay.
I do apologize.
SB has only right opinions. How does she do it?
Boy. Amabel, why did you want to highlight that? What was it about that you took issue with?
No, I'm not highlighting it. I agree.
Okay.
I agree. Yeah, no, you have correct opinion. See, here's the secret. Here's how she does it, folks, is I generally only have wrong opinions. So like we're like the 2 doors, one always tells the truth, one always tells lies. She's always right, and then I always say stuff like Super Mario Brothers 2 is the best NES Mario game.
This is not how these conversations go when y'all are not around. And back here in this chair is where I keep the dyke who actually powers my spaceship. Hello, sir.
That's amazing. This is my favorite part, other than potatoes.
This is a very complicated, the nature of a Warframe, what exactly is a Warframe, where do they come from, and how do they work, is like the core element of the plot, at least as far as I am into it. And that lady back there is involved, and also it's complicated. Here's a bobblehead. I made a bobblehead. That's Warframe.
Okay. That's Warframe.
What is it?
That's Warframe.
What is it? It's fucking everything. Do you have any more questions? Are there any more questions from the chat? Do people have things to...
I don't see any more questions from the chat.
I have done so much talking. Oh my god, I need some
I've also
parts.
done talking. We both talked.
Look at that. We actually almost finished pulling the parts in for this. I guess the thing I need now is Oxium. I do not know where to get good amounts of Oxium, but like one thing that's very friendly about the game is, as you can see here, if you mouse over a resource, it just tells you straight up, like, here's places where you could like look for this reasonably. The problem is it says location, all these bodies, and I know what it's talking about. There's a kind of enemy that is made of Oxium, and when you kill them, they drop it. But they drop like a little bit. They drop like 10. And I need 1,000.
So Jerry's in the chat and asks, do you want to know a trick about Oxium?
You know what? I do, yes. I would love to know a trick about Oxium. That would be lovely.
Because I know you like to discover stuff on your own a lot of the time. But thought I'd highlight that question so you could give an answer, and we'll see what Jerry has to say.
I would like to give 8 thumbs up to the Varuna has 4 wolves in her is a statistical anomaly and should have been discarded.
There is no trick about Oxium. We all suffered to get it. That's not great.
Oh,
that's not great.
raised my hopes and dashed them quite expertly. Well done. Of the romantic options, who would you pick? Romantic options. Are we talking about the Warframes? Which Warframe would I?
Yeah. So there apparently there is a dating simulator coming in the next big update.
But wait, we're dating the Warframes or the
I don't know,
or the biological characters who are sort of on the periphery? Because there's like living people. I don't like a Warframe. Okay, so if we were to apply Brian David Gilbert's classic metrics for cuddling here, I think all of the Warframes fail very badly, right? They're all just like metal and stone. As for like who has the attitude, who is the most fuckable, regardless of whether or not I think it would actually be like fun to do that, I am gonna have to go back to Varuna. For sure, this is a whole situation. If I met a woman with this vibe in real life, she would destroy it. She could ruin my life. She would absolutely. Ureli's kind of got a thing going too. She's a little like. I was also thinking about maybe making a Ureli. She is like, so the Vent kids have a comic book about her. She's like their superhero.
Oh, that's rad.
And she has, first of all, that's cute. She has a little creature that she rides. And this is canonically the inspiration for the K-Drives, the little hoverboards. Is they were trying to make a thing that let them be like Ureli, because Ureli is their like she's their inspiration.
Jerry says
she helped the miners throw off the yoke of the company to some extent, you know.
Okay. Jerry says that Ureli is waifu bait.
Waifu.
Don't know what that means.
You know what? That's fine. I'll explain that to you off the air. It's complicated. So yeah, she seems rad. She has fish or whatever. She has fish or whatever. I love to hit enemies with a fish or whatever. Look at that. She gathers the enemies up in a water globe and explodes them. That's cool. gains plus 200% crit chance for secondary weapons as long as she's been moving for at least a second and a half.
Okay, yeah.
It's like there's a whole vibe going on there. Just like riding your sick hoverfish around and shooting enemies in the head. That 200% critical chance, I don't know all the mechanics, but it's like there are several levels of criticals, I think. And the more crit chance you have, the better you roll on that table. It's like it checks for crit, and if you crit, then it subtracts 100 and checks for crit again. And if you still crit, then it, levels your crit up. Something like that.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a lot of ways to get considerably higher than 100% crit chance. That's the thing I figured out. This is Sevagoth. This is the guy who was in the ghost ship. He's a ghost man. He seems pretty rad. That's You know what I like about him is they have an energy. His whole thing is he has a ghost and he can shoot his ghost at you. And if he dies, instead of dying, he emits his ghost. And if the ghost can get a certain number of kills, then instead he does not die. Which I think is pretty rad. Also, he looks like this.
Yeah.
And he's not even the guy who's named Revenant. There are like 3 of these dudes who are just like, I'm a robot who's a ghost. Mace is like a cowboy, like a dual pistol cowboy.
All right.
Hydroid's a squid bot. He's a squid now.
I don't care for that.
Hildren is a lady bodybuilder.
All right.
Don't know why you need to bodybuild if you're made of metal and rock. I think they're partly biological. Listen, again, nobody knows how warframes work. Don't yell at me.
Oh, that Grendel. Can you go to the Grendel?
Yeah, you want me to look at Grendel?
That's weird. Usually Grendel doesn't have 2 arms. That's a Beowulf joke.
Yes, I know. I know, sweetie. If it makes you feel better, you can think of like this stuff as the Voltron around the Grendel, which is just the midsection.
Oh.
Right?
That does not make me feel better, actually. It makes me feel much worse.
Yeah, looking at that is kind of making me ill. Here's Harrow. It's like, what if a robot was a monk for no reason? There's so many of them, and they do so many weird things. This guy's made of knives, apparently. Oh, that's sick. Hold on a second. I wasn't familiar with this dude's game. Yeah, he's just the knife man. What if all of the knives forever? For all of you. He has an ability where he shoots knives out of his body and it's called Recompense. That's fucking rad. This game. So as you can see, I'm a little taken with it. I think it's good.
Yeah. You've been quite enamored with it this last week, and it's really no one I know loves a thing as hard as you do. You don't love as many things as many people.
I am famously curmudgeonly, and I hate almost everything.
But when you love a thing, you go hard and deep, like you want to know all about it, and you have such enthusiasm for it, and something that I find really, really admirable, really remarkable about you. I remember when we first started dating, you telling me about Pathfinder, and the way you've been talking about this game for this last week is the way you were talking about Pathfinder when we first met. So
that's very sweet. Thank you, darling.
Speaking of tangent, has Amabel seen Tactical Breach Wizards? Because it seems like an extremely Amabel game. So actually, when Samhain covered during the Steam Next Fest,
yeah, we played.
I was on that episode with her.
Yeah, we played that demo together.
Yeah, and I have watched two of the episodes of her current, going through it.
That's
It does
all of
seem
them at the
like my
moment.
jam. Okay.
Can you believe I've been so distracted with other things that I have a gun that is 5 grenade launchers, and it's just sitting here unbuilt, a blueprint for a gun that's 5 grenade launchers because I have so much other stuff going on. This is another place that I will say, like, there's an opportunity to get scummy here by making it so that you can't work on projects in parallel. That is definitely the kind of thing that free to play games often do. They make it so you can only work one blueprint at a time, and you just have to sequence them. And boy, does that make you want to buy some rushing. I really, really appreciate that Warframe does not do that. And like the costs for rushing things are not super high. Oh, I said we were going to look at the platinum prices. So like, 25 plat to rush a 12-hour build, right? Or as we were looking at over here, like buying a full ass Warframe right off the top, like 325, 375. Some of them are a little bit cheaper, but it seems like a lot of them are in that like 300-ish range. So what is that? Like 370 platinum is $20.
Oh,
So like just buying a Warframe fresh is like $20. I think it's like a pretty fair. Some of them are less, some of them are a little bit more, but that's like if you just want to buy a character outright, it's $20. That seems very high to me. I cannot imagine paying that. But some people have more job than I do. And you know what? Time is the thing that is difficult to purchase more of. So if you have the money, I can absolutely see, an opportunity to exchange cash for time is a perfectly reasonable purchase if you have enough cash. This guy's name is Necros. Yeah, that's fucking...
Okay.
That's a whole thing.
So speaking of time...
Soul punch. Why don't you just punch him into a soul? Oh my god, he punches them so hard their soul comes out their back and turns into a projectile. Fucking video games, y'all. Like, look at that. That's incredible. Force enemies around you to drop additional loot. I don't know why that's desecrating them, but whatever. And where does this guy come from? Oh no. So you remember how I said the garbage boss with the 3 heads who's invincible almost all the time? It took me like an hour to kill him. That's where this guy's parts are from. Lephantis. I do a lot more damage now than I did when I fought him. I might be able to handle fighting Lephantis. But that's grim. Also, the just raw, like the normal blueprint, it's 100,000 credits. That's so much. I mean, okay. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. You were trying to tell me that it's time to end the stream.
Well, it's time to quickly get into the part of the stream we talk about. Recommending things part. What do we call this part?
We call this the part where, hey, we love stuff and you love stuff too. Don't you love stuff too? Why don't you tell us about the stuff that you love this week? .com.
All right. What'd you love this week, sweetie?
Hold on, I gotta buy that domain name. Fill for me while I buy the domain name. Did you have anything?
Well, I did, yeah.
Well, hit it.
So here's the thing about me is that I love musicals.
Sure.
And I love Technicolor. And I love French New Wave. So those things together means that I'm like an ideal audience for Umbrellas of Cherbourg, which I saw once before, like at a repertory showing. But I saw it this past week. And I thought it was utterly lovely. You saw a little bit of it with me, and were less taken with it. Let's say that. So it's not for everybody. It's certainly an acquired taste, but
The word I would use is outraged. I was outraged.
you were. We found out you are not one for recitative singing.
I don't mind. There are ways to do it that are good. I'm sorry.
Anyway.
I'm sorry. I'm
No, that's okay.
I don't mean to poop in your recommendation. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. But it's a 60-year-old film, so with the usual caveats, and everyone in it is pretty straight, which that's a problem, But
Yeah, thumbs down for sure.
But it was directed by Jacques Demy, who was director who did a lot of musicals and for French Technicolor musicals, and was not straight. So I mean, I always support the people who aren't the straights. Yeah, I liked it a lot and thought it was charming and sad and moving. Did you finish registering your domain?
I haven't finished registering my disgust even.
Oh, what did you like this week, sweetie?
Nothing. I hate media and everything. No, there was this game. I've been playing this game called Warframe. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been stuff for sure. I started rewatching Legion, the TV show Legion, one of the sort of like the early Noah Hawley projects. That dude became everywhere, all over television very quickly. This is one of the earlier things that he did. I fucking love Legion. Legion's rad. It's a good show. I forgot how good it is. I'm actually enjoying it more this time than I did when I originally watched it. I had another thing prepped in my brain that I was going to say, and I've forgotten it now.
Is there a movie you've seen? Is there an album you to? I'm trying to jog your.
I know, I appreciate that very much. That's a really good question. There was something. I talked about All You Need Is Death a week or two ago.
I think so.
But I'm going to say it again. Hey, check out All You Need Is Death. I think it's on. I think it's easier to stream now. I think it came out on more stuff. Paul Duane seems rad. I'm supporting his movie.
Oh, I saw that 3-hour documentary about folk horror.
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah.
on Shudder. It was all right. It has some unusual arguments that I thought are worth engaging with, and a lot of there's 200 movies in it, so there's a lot of movie clips, a lot of things I hadn't heard of, and I like watching a lot of movies, and I particularly like those kind of strains of horror. So I thought that was really rad. Jerry in the chat says he got into something. I can't. Am I allowed to say the name of this game?
You're allowed to say it, yeah.
It got into the Deadlock beta, and it's pretty fun.
Yeah, so okay. Amabel's having a little bit of fun with the fact that on the title screen for Deadlock it says, "Hey, don't fucking talk about Deadlock. Deadlock's a big secret." But at this point, Deadlock has so many active players on Steam that it's not a secret anymore. I have been in the Deadlock beta for a couple of months at this point, and I do like it. I'm gonna not say more than that. I'm gonna honor them that much at least. And so I guess what I will say is a little bit of description. If you're not familiar with it, it is the closest thing to. Oh no, I've forgotten the name of the game. Battleborn. It is the closest thing to Battleborn that we have seen since Battleborn. It's very like that. It's like What If Do to Battleborn. It's good. It's cool. It's rad.
Okay, Jerry says they removed Do Not Talk About Deadlock restrictions, more or less.
Oh, okay. I mean, that makes sense because again, it's out there enough that it's ridiculous at this point to pretend it's a secret.
Yeah. Mordred says that they've been watching One Piece, with their wife for the past few months, and it's really good.
Okay.
I don't know what One Piece is.
One Piece, is that probably the anime, if they've been watching it for a couple of months rather than the live action? Because I think there's only one season of the live
Oh, is that
action.
the one with the Straw Hat guy?
It is the one with the Straw Hat guy.
Okay.
I have seen one episode of it, and I saw that when I think, is that right? Has that show been running that long? I was about to say, I think I saw one episode of it in high school, which would be 17 years ago or something like that. More than that. Jeez.
We have a couple people in chat asking if they can have your Warframe name to send you a friend request and or gifts of slots.
That's very kind.
Is that something you'd rather they message you about on some platform, or?
No, I mean, you could actually, I'm surprised it wasn't really visible at any point during the game. So it is generally speaking, MSB plays games on stuff, usually. Most things do not let you be just SB. 2 characters is too short for almost every video game. So usually MSB plays games unless SB plays games is not available for some reason, and then, in which case I will do a whatever. I am... Please don't take it personally if I don't accept friend requests or anything. I am reclusive. And I'm definitely playing this game like as a thing to do by myself in the middle of the night. I'm not super personable in real life.
I know.
I don't want to discourage people, be like, I'm too good to play a game with you, but like, there's a reason that the job I chose involves me being in a room by myself talking to the void for hours at a time, and it's because I am a misanthrope and kind of an awkward weirdo. I don't know if the awkward weirdo thing comes through or not. We were talking the other day. We had a short conversation the other day. You mentioned somebody using. This would be some gender stuff here. You mentioned somebody using the phrase male socialization to refer to a pattern of being raised that imbues you with different, say, knowledge and expectations and stuff than being raised as a girl, right? Female socialization.
Yeah.
And we both felt that it's very inappropriate to tell a trans woman that she is male socialization, because like I have yet to meet a trans woman who wasn't always made to feel like an outsider as a child, who wasn't always like ruthlessly picked on and marginalized by male peers and stuff. So that's what I have. I have weirdo freak socialization, and that has carried over into adulthood. So I'm very awkward around people, and I apologize if you try to reach out to me on a thing, you try to make some kind of contact, and I'm weird. That's how I am. Apologies. It's not a judgment thing. That's a me being a weirdo thing.
I do want to highlight a comment from Andy, who says, "Hey, first time I'm catching a live stream, although I have to sleep now. With that said, SB, thank you for your videos. You don't realize how important they were to my last 3 years. Hashtag love endless 4X."
That's very kind. Thank you. I'm happy that I could. Yeah, I'm happy that I could provide whatever service it is that I provided. Another thing that's kind of weird about doing this for a living is that like I put a thing out into the universe and then I almost never get to know anything about how it hits people. Even like when you make like films or books or whatever, I feel like you get a little bit more of a sense of like what people are doing with the thing that you're giving them. But because like Let's Play videos on YouTube are a thing that's almost without exception going to be consumed solo in people's homes in like their time of relaxation. There's a lot of different ways that people engage with it. Some people will just like watch a Let's Play video. For some people, it's second monitor stuff. For some people, it's I'm having a spiraling depression and I just need something that's going to like give me a thing to hang on to, give me a voice to hang on to. That is certainly a way that some YouTube creators were for me. The Rap Critic fucking got me through my last breakup for sure. And for some people, it's like, you know, a sleep aid. Some people put your stuff on while they're going to sleep. And so they don't necessarily catch a lot of it all the time, but it's still like important. And, yeah, so when I say I'm happy to have provided whatever service it is I provided, I'm not trying to be glib or anything. I'm just like, I really am happy whenever anybody gets anything out of the stuff I do, and I think that it's cool that people do get so many different things out of it.
Yeah. I think you're neat.
Thank you. I still haven't remembered what the other thing was. It's driving me crazy. We're going to stop the stream and it's going to pop back into my head immediately. I'm like looking through my YouTube history and like what's on my Plex server, like what was it? I can tell you what I have been listening to a lot of actually is Devi McCallion.
Yeah.
The last week or so, just like a lot of Devi. So you know, she has put out music under a lot of different names. She's a lot of different projects. But you know, Girls Rituals, Mom, whatever. I really like a lot of the stuff she did as Mom.
Yeah, the Girls Ritual stuff certainly resonates with me more than the Mom stuff has. But
yeah, I don't know. I'll try to figure it out and remember to talk about it next week, I guess. I don't know what it was.
Okay.
Oh, it was Brockmire. I was going to talk about Brockmire.
Okay, yeah, we've been watching Brockmire.
Because we've been watching a lot of Brockmire, and I think people should know about Brockmire because I think people don't. It's a TV show. It was a TV show. It was on IFC. It's probably... Can you stream Brockmire? How would you watch Brockmire if you were, say, trying to do that on a computer? Yeah, it's on stuff. It's on Amazon Prime, it looks like. Also, the Roku channel and AMC Plus. What the internet? Anyway, it's a comedy show about a baseball commentator who has a bad time. That's pretty much the show.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like much, but yeah, Hank Azaria led, heavily featuring Amanda Peet and Tyrell Jackson Williams, I think is his name. I'm going to look because I don't want to butcher the poor man's name. Yeah, Tyrell Jackson Williams, who is fantastic in it. I would love to see him in more stuff. Yeah, it's very funny. It's very dark, and a lot of the sort of like emotional resonance of it comes from the fact that the pain feels very real. It is a series about people who are like very damaged, and it's not, I was going to say it's not making light of their damage. It is making fun of their damage, but it never makes light of the damage. It takes the stuff very seriously, and like I said, the pain feels very real, but the show is also extremely funny. More masturbation jokes per minute than I would say almost any piece of media I've ever consumed. So
there are a few more comments about how great you are. I think though, because we're wrapping up,
yeah,
I'll just share those with you after.
Okay, I really do appreciate all of that kind of stuff. I'm going to probably cry a little bit. I would prefer to do that off camera. It's embarrassing.
Yeah. But
for real,
thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Y'all are so like incredibly kind to me, and I really do appreciate that because I am a soft little bitch, and I will go to pieces over absolutely nothing. So it's nice to be treated gently.
You
I'm
have
just
such
being
a
honest, you know.
you have such a lovely audience you've cultivated, and I'm happy that they sometimes seem to like me okay, and that's nice. I like that too.
All right, y'all. We're gonna go. Thank you all so much for being here, for having been here this whole time. I hope people enjoyed seeing Warframe from the place that I'm at in it. And if you're like on the fence about it, it's for real, it's free, and it's very easy to check out. I think it's worth it. It's a cool game. So thank y'all very much. Come back, this week for videos and stuff, and enjoy whatever is left over of your weekend. And we'll see you later, y'all.